welcome back to the Ping Pong Flix Show. My name is Chris Wong. Wow, quite a bit of more rumors and speculation, but apparently some scoopers have some information for us that could be exciting for DC fans everywhere. But I literally just woke up like not too long ago, so I had to gather everything for this show. Like I said, I had my second COVID shot, and it made me super, super tired. In fact, my left arm still kind of hurts. So, but anyway, let's get on with the topics of the day. The first topic of the day is something that's going to happen tomorrow. Guillermo Del Toro says drop briefly to say big announcement tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I am pretty excited for this. I think, I don't know what we're going to get from tomorrow. He didn't say if it's like a horror movie or a show he's doing. Is it Justice League Dark? Is that still happening? Well, I don't know. But or even Pacific Rim. How about, well, maybe he's doing another Pacific Rim. Is he getting back into Hellboy? I don't know, but definitely I wouldn't mind and be surprised that it's going to be some type of horror movie, horror show maybe, and that is something I am very much excited to see. I can't wait to see what Guillermo Del Toro has there to say. And Sam from TJVS, that gif is distracting very much. All right. The next thing is Army of the Dead's got some cool new posters for us, and they're releasing all these different promotional items out here. As you've seen these posters before, you've seen that one. This is a new one here, Army of the Dead. And then you can actually, it's kind of cool because on this is, of course, all the Zack Snyder stuff, and then you still see they snuck in the Snyder cut over here. So that's really cool that the Snyder cut is absolutely a part of this poster on almost all the different promotional images, as it kind of way an Easter egg, but I like to say it's like an F you to Warner Brothers indeed. And the other thing was this one right here. Hopefully, Dead drop number 1. Apparently, there's going to be more images drops as we get closer to Army of the Dead. So that's kind of cool. Army of the Dead, really cool things here. Lots of cool promotional images. Of course, love that Vegas aesthetic that's going on there, so that's pretty amazing itself. Can't wait to see that. All right, Geek Vibes Nation had an article that says Mortal Kombat director says sequel all depends on the fan, and that's absolutely correct. It doesn't matter what the critics say. It doesn't matter what the what all the reviews and whatnot. It depends on the numbers for the most part. In certain cases. A lot of it depends on the numbers, depends on how many viewings and tickets and so on and so forth. So this is going to be one of those situations here. But slight spoilers, sequels, this is what Simon McQuoid says, the director says about this. Sequels are a bit tricky because you can't totally ignore them, because that wouldn't be a smart move, but none of us use the S word. We've never talked about it in any depth whatsoever because we feel like we have to pull all our energy into this film. That being said, if the fans want another one, that's not for us to decide, that's for fans to decide. Then we need a couple of joiner pieces that we can lead us somewhere else, because there's a treasure trove of stuff that's just sitting there. And then we already reported that Sub-Zero is going to be in like 4 more sequels. So that's Joe Taslim already said that, already spilled that. And then yesterday we talked about the Mortal Kombat trilogy, which is going to be like pre-tournament, tournament, and then post-tournament. And what about having, why are we focusing on Cole Young and not Johnny Cage? Where's Johnny Cage or Kitana? And he said this: the reason Johnny Cage is not in the original film is he's such a giant personality that he almost has his own gravitational field. The feeling was that he would throw it out of balance slightly. I get asked about Kitana just as much as Johnny Cage. There's a lot of interesting character story material to work with, so we haven't really dug into it. We just know that we're very privileged that's sitting there. If we do get that, and I'm not saying that we will, I'm saying that if big if, then we'll go down that path. And I would absolutely, like I said, I would love this to continue. There is so much that could absolutely happen with the Mortal Kombat sequels getting to the tournament. I want to see Johnny Cage. And you know what? Kano died. So maybe that's the That's the kind of character that Johnny Cage would have kind of been. That, comical, that type of character was going to be in there, the badass. And so maybe Johnny Cage will be the replacement for Kano. So hopefully Johnny Cage don't die. But Johnny Cage going to be in his second one. They already teased that at the end of Mortal Kombat. Kitana, probably as well. So there's going to be a lot more characters in the sequel. Now, but it all depends on the fans. But I got good news. Got good news for this Mortal Kombat 2021. Get Phantom says Mortal Kombat had HBO Max's most watched premiere weekend with 3.8 million US households per Samba TV in 3 days. In 3 days, it did 3.8, beating Godzilla vs. Kong, which had 3.6 million in 5 days. We're still looking for continuing MonsterVerse, by the way. Get that to work. Wonder Woman 1984 was 2.2. Then Snyder Cut was 1.8 million in 4 days. So that's the top 4 movies as right now, according to Samba TV. And that is pretty big. Mortal Kombat looks like it won the audience. It won the fans. And I'm just gonna guess and say that we're gonna have a sequel indeed. We're gonna have a sequel indeed. Now we'll get to this little thing right in a minute. But Louis Tan, the guy who played Cole Young, tweeted out 3.8 million households, broke all the records in 3 days, and #1 at the box office. Love you guys, we did it. Mortal Kombat movie, get ready for get that hashtag MKU. It's not exactly the Mortal Kombat verse, but it is the Mortal Kombat universe, kind of like how we say the MCU, DCEU. He's totally championing that right now, and I would have to agree, yes. Please continue. No more reboots. I think there was enough potential in this first one to elevate to a second one and a third one, and however more. They're going to have Joe Tesla be Sub-Zero because he is the baddest character, the awesomest character in this, along with Scorpion. So, but yeah, so he's got it. I think they've got it in the bag. I think they've made their production budget already. They just got to make it a little bit more money. But I think it's going to happen, and we're gonna get Mortal Kombat 2, right? And we're gonna get continued MonsterVerse as well. But a lot of people are having gripes with the 1.8 million, and you know what? There's no, this is coming from Samba TV. This is a third party, and so on and so forth. That's fine. But you know what? I don't mind that as much. The reason why is that unlike Godzilla vs. Kong 1984 and Mortal Kombat, the Snyder Cut was not being promoted as effectively and as big as the other 3 movies. Also, Snyder Cut is 4 hours, so maybe people need time to watch, or find time to watch the Snyder Cut. But having it appear, being a movie that is not exactly new, it is essentially, for a lot of general mainstream, is a director's cut of a version of a movie that should have came out 3 years ago. To have it be up to par with 3 other major blockbuster movies, I call that a win. It didn't have to beat these, but it had to be in the same bracket as these other movies, which were 100%, 150, and 200% marketed by Warner Brothers themselves. Snyder Cut went against those odds and managed to be part of the race, right? So don't be discouraged by that. Don't be discouraged by that at all. To have it being included in this is awesome. All right. Well, since we're getting to DC news, might as well. Daniel RPK, and this is credit to DC Verso. You probably checked out Daniel RPK releases a lot of scoops through his Patreon, and so he's putting it out. According to Daniel RPK, the Green Lantern series from HBO Max will start recording only in September now. So recording, maybe they'll start production in September. I guess that was pushed back. Maybe that's why we haven't heard who's going to be these characters yet for that HBO Max Green Lantern series. But still, yeah, man. Release the Green Lantern scene for Zack Snyder's Justice League, please. Moving on. Moving more forward. We got some Batman news, too. According to Daniel Ricken, there have been conversations for Robert Pattinson to appear as the Batman spin-offs. That's interesting. But that does make sense because Jeffrey Wright is going to play Commissioner Gordon. He's going to be the lead in that Gotham PD. They're calling Gotham PD right now. We don't actually have a real name for it. I would rather it be called Gordon. That would be kind of cool. Have a series just be called Gordon. That would be awesome. I think Jeffrey Wright should be the lead for that, and he will be. But just to throw it in there, they might as well just have Robert Pattinson appear as the Batman once in a while, have him be in the background as a secondary or something character, and have it concentrate on Gotham PD, have it concentrate on Gordon, but have Batman be part of that as well. It's not like he's like, oh, we saw him for a little bit, but that'd be kind of cool to have Robert Pattinson be part of the spin-offs as well. So that's kind of awesome. Speaking of the Batman, according to Ryan Unicomb and also Jet Raimi on Batman on Film, which I think he blocks me, but they apparently have new images or coming out or something, stills. He sees stills right here for the Batman that is coming soon. So Robert Pattinson's Batman marketing is going to get right away. I mean, it's still a year out, but I can expect that Warner Bros. Want people to get excited about DC, right? I mean, they're gonna try their best, but this is not sure when this is gonna happen. Maybe this week, maybe sometime soon, but we'll see. We'll see what kind of images that will blow us away for Robert Pattinson's Matt Reeves, the Batman, in any case, right? Let's talk about another Batman story. This is coming about the Flash in a way. According to Daniel Rickman, Ben Affleck may appear again as Batman after the Flash. What? What? Now, there's also a rumor going around today that Warner Bros. Wants to kill off Ben Affleck's Batman character in the Flash, which is something we've heard before that will be his last. And I would say kill off, maybe just like have him be a universe that won't exist anymore, kind of thing. But essentially that was the talk about how he may not be. That would be his last role as the Batman. That's going to be we last see him as the Batman, and specifically why Ben Affleck wanted to be a part of it, because he wanted to fulfill his last contract as the Batman for the Flash. But for Daniel to hear this now in the industry that says Ben Affleck may appear again as Batman after the Flash could spell good things. Good things. Okay. Now, he didn't specifically say if it's via through the Warner Brothers, where people want to call it Hamadaverse, okay, Hamada Burgerverse, or through HBO Max as the Snyderverse. Now, I would love him to appear again as Batman for the Snyderverse. Right? Because that is the Batman movie I wanted to see. I wanted to see Batman and Batgirl versus Deathstroke in a David Fincher's The Game style movie. That would be awesome. So that specifically, that is the one I want to see him appear again as Batman. What does this mean? If this is going to be the Hamadaverse, then that's interesting. Does that mean he will actually appear as Batman for the continued DCU in the theatrical? That's interesting. So that means that he's not only just fulfilling it, but he may be wanting to come back again. And I'm like, oh, that'd be pretty nuts. I would love that. Now, this is just speculation again. So Daniel says may appear. I know he's been hemming and hawing for a while, and he got excited to play the Batman once again after Zack Snyder's Justice League was announced. So he did come back to shoot for Zack. So I'm just thinking, I'm hoping, crossing all my fingers and everything. I know we're doing that. We're doing that thing for Restore the Snyderverse. This may be the symbol for Restore the Snyderverse. Do it. But I'm really hoping that we're going to get some more Ben Affleck as Batman. Yes, please. Please come back, Ben. Please. If you want to. and then you like what you're going into in the story and so on and so forth, and you want to have a good experience, absolutely. But if you want to, and I hope you want to, I mean, you did come back. You did come back for the Nightmare Batman here, and you did kind of say at the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League, well, guess we'll see you around. Guess we'll see you around, man. Do it! Do it! Do it! Okay. But that's awesome. I mean, I hope that's the case. But we'll see what happens with that. We'll see. We'll find out more, I guess, when we get towards the Flash. I don't know. But I hope this is the start of the Restored Snyderverse. I think you guys hope as well. But man, I want to see that Ben Affleck Batman versus Deathstroke movie. Joe Manganiello, man, taking him and Batgirl on, or Batman with the Joker, the Nightmare Vision, Batman, reliving the Robin's death or something. Yes, give it to me. That would be sick. That would be sick. All right, so my final topic, speaking about the Flash, again, we're getting it again. Another may appear. May. But, yeah, not many people are probably throwing up right there in their mouths, but hey, I was a kid from the 90s. I remember reading about that Superman Lives movie, and I wanted to see real bad because a kid coming off from Con Air, The Rock, the one with Sean Connery in it, and like Face Off. I was a huge Nicolas Cage. I still am to a certain extent. That a Nicolas Cage fan, and I would love to see him appear as an older Superman in the Flash, right? And it makes sense because Michael Keaton's coming back. He's the Tim Burton's universe for the Tim Burton Batman in that Burtonverse, and within that Burtonverse was going to be Nicolas Cage as Superman. He would have been the Burton version of Superman. So I still want this to happen. Just because of being a fan of Superman Lives, and seeing that documentary by John Schnepp. God rest your soul, rest in peace, my dear sir. Hopefully in heaven you get to see Zack Snyder's Justice League. I'm sure you did. I'm sure you thought it was awesome as well. But yeah, I would love to see Nicolas Cage come back as just a little bit, just to clear the air and absolutely be able to be on screen as Superman, and not just voiceover from the Teen Titans movie, but actually be in the suit in some fashion. So that'd be kind of cool. I would say that'd be kind of cool. And I did a whole editorial about this. In fact, prior to this news, speculation today, or what he's been hearing in the industry today. And you can click on it right there. The links are up right there. Okay, Nicolas Cage as Superman. Yes. So this movie's going to have it all. I guess going to have the Flash. They're throwing everything in there because they want to make it bigger, and the most ginormous thing they could ever think of for the DCEU. The Flash is going to need to knock our socks off. And I don't know if it will. At this point in time, if they're already starting production, and they're still thinking about may appear, may do this, these are really last minute stuff, I think. Not that doesn't work, but you're starting to hear that these things, or maybe they're just saying that and he's already in it. I don't know. So we'll see as we continue further, and maybe behind the scenes shoots should be, if there's any people with giant cameras, please go down to these sets, Black Adam, The Flash, whatever. Take some good pictures. We would love to see them. All right. Let's get into the members' comments and questions right now. Here we go. All right. Let's see. Eric Blake. Zack's words here alone ought to be a golden words of hope for everyone within the Snyderverse community. And yet, so many are ready to give up. Don't give up, everyone. By Zack's own words, we've already won the hardest battle. The rest is patience. Yeah. And that's why I put it out, because there was people like really dour. And sometimes I get, dour and get like, I don't know. But, Zack's words always picks me up. And I went to that one specifically because I wanted to put it out on the shorts to get it out there to anybody who's listening, saying, keep fighting. Keep fighting. we've got past the biggest hurdle, which is the Snyder Cut. Now he's saying that, look, the one thing, the Snyder Cut was impossible, but we've already done that, right? So what are the chances that we get a sequel? There are better chances getting a sequel than the Snyder Cut ever coming out. So yeah. Don't read, man. Oh, I'm sorry. That's what happens when I read things live. I don't read it in advance, but sorry, Doobie, I already read it. But well, we love him too. Eric Blake, I love this idea, especially with the element of how Diana's story is linked to so many other well-known characters. Ben Affleck could show up early on, Batfleck interacting with Black Canary, and ultimately giving her encouragement in her endeavors, and or perhaps motivating her to leave Gotham, heading to where Oliver Queen's company is based, and of course the whole arc of her interactions with Oliver, culminating in Canary and Arrow teaming up for a mission with hope for things to come. Pretty fly for a Filipino guy. Okay, I just watched your interview with Ray Fisher. Awesome job. Well, thank you, man. How was that interview compared with Snyder's? I think you'd had the toughest guest to interview due to Ray's malicious experience during the reshoot. To handle the interview with care, you managed to ask the tough questions at the same time, made him elated with excitement when you asked him about his other projects. Also, you brought out narrative gems about Zack Snyder's Justice League, like how Cyborg showed his dad the monstrous side only to pay off the arc by showing his human side at the end. Kudos. If you haven't seen it, check out Chris's Justice Con interview with Ray Fisher. Yeah, check it out, man. But I thought it went well, and you know, I was also wondering if I could ask him the tough questions and stuff like that. And you know, right before the show, I did ask him, "Can I ask you about the investigation stuff?" He says, "Yeah, just go ahead, whatever you want to ask, I'll see if I can handle it." And so I was like, okay, cool. And so we went right ahead with that. But I also used questions that some people were wanting to know about as well, like Rick Famuyiwa and stuff like that. So decided to do that. I think it was easier than Snyder's. To two reasons. One, because Zack Snyder's Justice League came out, so there was no spoilers. There's nothing that he could potentially cannot say. And two, I had a team backed up. I got Nana and Cole and Meg in the background, and I also had Enosh as a secondary host to read the questions and gather questions. So I felt like I had people around me to back me up if anything were to go wrong, and they absolutely helped me out. They absolutely helped me out. So I'm really thankful for that, and thank you for them for inviting me to be a host for Justice Con. So that was awesome. But thank you so much, Ray Fisher, for letting me talk to you for just a little bit. If Zack Snyder's Justice League is the last of the Snyderverse, I wonder why Warner Brothers cares so much that Zack included Wayne T. Carr. Exactly. Remember, CW teased at the end of Arrow that John Diggle was going to be a Green Lantern. Right. They care because they know that the audience would want, nay, demand for Zack Snyder's Justice League to be canon and for the story to continue. I know, but like you said, canon is based, everything is canon. I think that was one of the biggest things they talked about at DC Fandom. Everything is canon because it's the multiverse. So it shouldn't, and it opens up to artists to do their own story. And, so that them being hypocrites by not allowing Zack Snyder to do his story while trying to do their own story. That's being hypocritical of that. You can capture many audiences. I mean, honestly, you guys know there are audiences that don't like Snyder stuff, right? And they rather see what Green Lantern HBO Max is going to be. And so you've got an audience for that. You've got an audience for this. Satisfy both. That's the only way you can capture the whole market. Mortal Kombat 2021 was okay until they suddenly rushed Raiden's teleport ambush. Yeah, that third act went by really quickly. They went right. I felt like there was a little bit more setup in there. Absolutely, I agree with you on that. And that's why the editing was really choppy. The turning point is far behind Warner Brothers. The Zack Snyder's Justice League is out in the world. It's known now what happened with the original release. They dug a hole. No matter how hard Warner Brothers tries to move forward, it can't be covered up. Restore the Snyderverse. Absolutely. I've watched this video 5 times, still don't know what he's trying to say. Well, I already said it earlier. So what he's trying to say that, look, right now, Warner Bros. Does not want to do a sequel. Okay? But if someone asked me, was it easier to get a sequel or was it easier to get the Snyder Cut? it would be easier to get the sequel than the Snyder Cut ever coming out. It was harder for a Snyder Cut to ever been revealed or to come out. So now that the Snyder Cut is out, the chances of getting a sequel are higher than if the Snyder Cut was never came out, right? And it wouldn't make sense to have a sequel if the Snyder Cut never come out. I love Zack to take the Jon Stewart scene, tweak the dialogue so it'd be no longer sound like a kind of a repeat of the Jon Jones scene, and then use this new scene at the beginning of JL2, perhaps shortly after the Clark Lois wedding. Hey Chris, here's 2 ideas for how to structure JL2. Zack said that he'd have JL2 centered around the nightmare future, so there are 2 thoughts. The present day setup culminating in Lois's death, intermission, and then the second half is the nightmare storyline. The film cuts back and forth between the present day storyline, the wedding, Jon Stewart arrives, Bruce and Victor try to figure out their nightmare visions, and the nightmare storyline, Bruce, Joker, and the ragtag team, Last Supper, Rashomon depiction of Dick Grayson's death, etc. What do you think? Chronological order or constant back and forth? Oh, I think that's a good question. So just looking at how he structures so far, Batman v Superman and Justice League, Justice League, it starts off with like the ending of the last movie. So I'm wondering if we're gonna have that. We're gonna have a little bit of Steppenwolf. Like it'll start off on Apocalypse after Steppenwolf's head rolls over and he gets the Armada. I think to me it feels like it's gonna start off in Apocalypse. And then I think it will go in order. I don't think it will cut back and forth. I think it will go in order. It will have the present day set up, and then maybe intermission, like you said, and then get into the nightmare storyline. So I think number 1 would be the way I'd see it. But either way, whatever works. I just want to see it. We just want to see it, man. All right. Anyway. All right. Well, that is it. That's a pretty quick day. But seems like some exciting things are happening, and I'm very excited to see what the future brings and the future holds for the Snyderverse. I am still very optimistic that we could restore the Snyderverse, and that's where I want to go there. The glass is always half full. All right, well, that is it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching my daily dose of entertainment news and content. Please click the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that notification bell, keep this hot dog light on, and I'm going to sleep. I'll see you next time. Bye. Oops.